Hey, what's good, y'all? I remember my junior year. This was before I gave my life to Jesus. I was super depressed. I had crazy anxiety. I had just went through the biggest breakup I ever had. It was like I didn't go to class. I skipped every class. I slept all day. Pretty much, I had literally nothing in my life going for me. And then I remember I would get home from school, and I would go straight to my room, I would close all my curtains, and I would just go to sleep, and I would just be in bed all day. And I remember my mom came home, and she came into my room, and the school had called her, was like, he pretty much didn't come to school, but I was there. I would just go to the lunch periods and stuff like that. But I skipped pretty much every class, and they called her, and she came to my room, and she was like, buddy, why are you skipping class? Da 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 da. Like, sleeping all day isn't normal. She's like, you're depressed. You're not doing anything. Da da. And then she said something to me that, like, well, I will remember for the rest of my life. And I share a lot, not a lot, but anytime I get to share my testimony, I share this aspect. She said something to me, and she was like, buddy, you're not living. You're just existing. And in the moment in time, like, I didn't really know what that meant. I didn't know, like, what was the difference between living and the difference between existing. And so I was like, whatever, mom, like, you're just, just a parent that just says these things that really don't make sense. Now that I can reflect and I can look back on this, there's definitely two people in this world. There are people who are living, and there are people who are existing. There are people who are just kind of just coasting through life, or wandering, or on autopilot, and then there are people who have grab a hold to what they want to do in life and what they were purposed to do in life. Every human, every living person has an innate desire to do something in the world, whatever it is, whatever it is, to do something in the world, to leave some type of impact in the world. And everyone's always searching. I mean, especially for young adults, right? When for most people, right? We're in school most of our lives, right? All we know is school, right? We have a couple months off in the summer, and then we're back to school. Majority of the year we're in school, and then that's all we know. And then when we graduate, we kind of are thrusted into the world, and then we're like, okay, well, now what? I remember where I was super scared to graduate, because I was like, I have no idea what I'm gonna do in life. All I've known is school, right? All you know is get up, get dressed, catch the bus, go to school, hang out with your friends, come home, and it's like that. And that's all you know. And that's all I knew in my small town. And I think, especially as a person who comes from where I come from, limited resources, most people around you aren't doing anything with their life or haven't done anything significant. And you kind of feel like you're in a box where you don't know what's obtainable. You just kind of are like, man, I guess for me, what it was I was like, oh, I guess I will just graduate, and then I'll, be in a relationship with someone, and we'll get an apartment, and I'll find a really good 9 to 5 that makes good money. And I have my friends, and I'll play the game with my friends, and I'll just do that, and I'll just hang out, and I'll go play basketball here and there, and that would be my life. And then one day I'll have kids, and it'll be like, the adults around me, and I'll have kids, and I have a partner, and and that'll be that. And that's what I thought living was, to some extent, was just working, making some money, being with a significant other, one day having kids, and then that was that. But like I said, every person has this innate desire to leave an impact in the earth. I remember me and all my friends, like, I grew up in this place called the Courts, and it was, pretty much a low income apartment complex. We would always just talk about these dreams that we would have of getting famous and doing something great, and start, I remember I remember the beginning of YouTube. I remember the beginning of YouTube. I remember watching skits. I remember watching the let's plays of people playing games. I remember all these things. And I remember the beginning of YouTube when we would talk about that stuff, and we're like, man, like, we could get rich and we could do these things, make the money off the stuff that we already do and we enjoy doing, and then that'll be what we do. But we always thought it was a dream that was so far to obtain that it wasn't possible, that it was only saved and reserved for those who, just happen to get lucky, or who are able to come across money to be able to afford or fund, the things to see those dreams come true. So I remember just consistently being in a space of, like, in a way, hopelessness, where I was like, well, my life is shaping up to be of nothing of impact, right? Nothing of impact, nothing of that'll be where I'm long and gone, and people will look back and be like, yo, buddy, he did this. And I've come to learn that what it means to live, it means to walk in your destined purpose here on earth. I like to look at life, or in a lot of aspects, anything, teams or my personal life or anything, as puzzles. And what's the purpose of a puzzle? Is that there's one greater overall picture, and there's tons of different pieces, small pieces that come together to create a greater overall picture. And I think purpose in life is that we're all an individual, unique piece, right? Each piece is unique and has a specific place and a specific purpose. We're all unique in our own way and have a specific place in this life to help create an overall picture. But with a puzzle is that you have to put it together and find out where these pieces go. And we're all our own individual pieces, and we're trying to figure out where we fit in the greater picture of the universe. I remember the point before I came to Jesus, and I remember life was just trash. I was trying everything, and in that time I was making like really good money, and I was pretty much did whatever I wanted, and my life still sucked. And I remember I was like, the moment when I gave my life to Jesus, I remember I was like, well, listen, I've made all my own decisions in life. I've decided everything I wanted to do, and I'm the reason why I'm in the position I am today. So if this God is real, and he created me, and he knows everything, and he's at the beginning and he's at the end, and he's outside of time, and time does not confine, does not hold him. And and when I say this God, I speak specifically Jesus, right? If Jesus is real and he has a purpose for me, that means overall he knows greater than I do, right? He knows greater than I do what I should be doing, and what is the reasoning for me being here on earth. And I remember when I gave my life to Jesus, in that moment I started to realize what living was. It was walking out in my God-given purpose. God has placed us all here and has given us all unique skills, talents, passions, desires, styles, humors, whatever it is, interests, tastes, facial feature, whatever. And God has created us all so uniquely because we are a puzzle piece in the greater overall picture of what he's trying to do in the universe. And there are people who are, like I said, this is prime age, right? Most people who ever come to Jesus will come to Jesus by the age of 18. Why? Because that age from like 18 to 23, 24, right? That young adult, early college age is when people start to solidify and figure out what they believe and what they are going to do. Most people who are probably watching this right now are probably in between those ages, right? About 18 to 25, probably 27. And you are either starting to figure out, or close to figuring out, or are close to finalizing what you're going to do, what you believe, and how you're going to live life. And we come to that crossroad where it's like either we will just exist and we will go on autopilot and we will coast through life, or we will figure out why am I here, and where do I fit in the greater picture? What is my unique placement in this greater overall picture of the world? You know? Because I refuse to believe that I'm just some clump of cells floating on a dying rock through an endless void in the cold universe, and that one day when I shut my eyes, it'll just go to black and there'll be nothingness. I don't. The world's too unique. There's too many miracles. There's too many, wonders. There's too many just crazy things that we cannot explain, that are just outside of our grasp of knowledge when it comes to like naturalism and just what makes sense. I believe, and I will speak for myself because I know myself the most, I believe for Buddy is that Buddy has a greater overall purpose here that was given by God to fill a role that helps paint the greater picture of the universe and leave an impact on this earth, on this life, long after I'm gone. And who knows what it'll be, what it'll fully fold out to. Obviously, I'm getting a glimpse and I'm still growing and still figuring out, but who knows what it'll be. Who knows that if this YouTube thing really will take off and blow up and, lead people to finding their purpose in Jesus. And then long after I'm gone, and if the Lord tarries and the earth is still here, people will come and they'll find these videos and they'll watch them, and they'll be able to come and find their purpose, their plan, their peace, their role in the greater overall scheme, the greater picture that God is painting for the universe.